I guess it's good afternoon now.
Afternoon, everyone. Oh, it's morning. It's still morning? Man, time flying by. My bad, my bad.
I'm already thinking about lunch. So happy to be sharing the stage with you, my brother. For those who don't know Amari, he's the type of person that wakes up laughing. Right? He's just happy all the time, great energy. If you don't mind introducing yourself and talking about your educational background.
Of course, good morning, everyone. Let me make sure I get that right before I get my hair chopped off this time. So, my name is Omari Bain. I am 23 years old, born and raised in the Bahamas. And Independence tomorrow, so very excited for that. Good to be back at home. I left Nassau when I was 14 years old to pursue a career in soccer. And I played professional soccer in Spain for 6 years until I made a move over to Arizona to pursue my master's in project management. While in Spain, I also continued my studies, getting my bachelor's in business administration as well as an honors in international management. And this would have been my first year actually working with AI, and it's been an up and down roller coaster, but it's been something that has truly changed my life.
So how has it benefited you both professionally and personally? Because going on the path of project management, people wouldn't really put that with AI.
Yeah, I believe project management is something that you really you have to be switched on all the time. It's not something that is very calm or anything like that because you always have a lot of different projects that you have going on as well as you have a lot of things that you have to make sure is in line all the time. So AI has really helped with project management, keeping those projects in line, keeping those documents in place where I need them to be. Of course, it's easy to slip up. You wake up in the morning, you scratch your head, you didn't really know what's going on, and then you get about 10 phone calls in the morning. I'm sure all you are going to relate to that. But it is definitely something that I believe helps a lot whenever you are trying to plan your day to day, especially when you don't have the time to do it for yourself.
Awesome. Now, I know we all utilize AI in some capacity here with a ChatGPT, but you're actually building AI applications. What's that been like?
Yeah, so I I saw it go up right here. So scholarshipmate.ai is a company that I had started to help students and parents, guardians to find for scholarships to help students to be tailored to them and help them apply and keep track of their applications as well. Scholarship Mate helps students to not only apply for these scholarships, but thereafter, when they're done with their studies as well, helping them plan for their careers and helping them to get a better understanding of where they want to be in life.
Awesome. So what challenges have you faced so far?
The biggest challenges I would say is that working with AI is very good and in the long term, but of course when you're first starting out, like I've heard a lot of you say while building up your AI right now, it's very frustrating trying to figure out what the idea is, how this idea is going to be built out. And especially, I'm sure once you start working with the AI, it's not going to get it right the first time. You kind of want to just strangle the AI a little bit. But it's definitely something that helps to be mindful that failure is a part of success, and the AI is your partner. It's not something that's trying to work against you. It's something that's trying to work for you, and you have to help it to help you. It's not something that it's going to be very smart the first time or know exactly what you want to do the first time. That's why you have to give it the love and the care as you would anybody else in your organization.
So for everyone here that has any idea that want to make a difference in their community, what advice would you give them?
In regards to AI, I believe the whole idea of scholarship mate actually came because coming from a very small island going to a large country, I realized that opportunity isn't really there for everyone. Now, I believe that I am extremely blessed to be in front of all of you, be able to speak to all of you today. But I know growing up that a lot of people may not be able to say the same thing. And the key to success for me is not just making a bunch of money, although that is a good little plus.
That's always good.
But the key to success is, can I change a life whilst improving my own? And I believe that's something that I really want to strive for in all of my work. Can I, use something that I've built to help somebody else garner opportunity in their own life? And I think that's something that I like to carry with everything that I do, from the AI to the project management, even business wise. That's something that I try to keep at the forefront.
Awesome. So what's next for Amari? Where do you see the application going in the next 5 years?
Most definitely, I believe that the important thing for this app is that this boosts education in the Bahamas. Not per se in the way that it is teaching people. It's teaching people in any kind of way. However, it is giving them a better sense of hope. And I think that's the most important thing that I want this app to do. I wanted to give students hope in what they can achieve if they just put their minds into what they want to do. So, for example, and a quick example, in the application, we have something called a career pathway, where the application asks students for their interests, things that they might want to do for a career path. And the app will give them career choices based on difficulty ratings. You could change in the countries, or you could change the job titles, the job types, and what it will do, or the industries as well. And what it does is that it gives you jobs in a low tier, medium tier, or high tier, and that will give you a better sense of where do you want to take your career. Because most times I see and hear that most people my age, they don't really know what they want to do, and it's very stressful, and it makes a lot of people kind of just quit and give up. I want to minimize that as much as I possibly can. And especially, I want to drive innovation within Bahamian minds. I believe Bahamians are some of the funniest, some people might say unserious, but I believe that Bahamians are most definitely some of the smartest minds. And the only thing that holds us back is ourselves. However, with this, I believe that if I can do my part in trying to make a better Bahamas, if I could do it, the whole nation can.
Awesome. It's been an honor sharing the stage with you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is there any questions for, I just want to marry you, Star. Chances is like we call it jump. Is there any questions then at all? This is on the spot. He know about
Can you put the QR code up, please? Yes, Avy there? The QR code.
That's the logo.
It's the logo.
The QR code for scholarship meeting. But are there any questions?
Yes, I didn't even know we had that.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't even know we had that.
Good day. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I think this is Mr. Israel Bodie from Process Council of Human Rights, the Office of Judiciary. My question is to the person who just come in into AI, right? What part can they take from being here?
Great question. I believe that being here is, like, I'll take from what Ms. Russell had said. This is a safe place. This is a place where everyone you look around to, if you look to your left, you look to your right, you see innovators. That is the reason why everybody came here today, because we all wanted to innovate something within our businesses, whether it be in the schools or within the entire nation. And I believe that the most important thing that you take from here is learning how to keep striving even after it doesn't work the first time. You all are in groups. I'm sure that you all have had great conversations about the idea that you're building and everything going on. And that should be a focal point because it should show you that there's a lot of minds that think the same way that you do. And with that, you should take it as a opportunity to network, connect, because you never know who you might work with, right? You never know which innovator that you might come along with, and you have the next big break. I think that that's something that's a really beautiful thing about this Vibathon, and something that you should really take with you after it's done as well.
Awesome. So just before you go too far, I just want to just highlight to them. Maybe you want to, we know that you can express yourself very well, you can talk very well, but you have a better relationship. But help them to understand the first AI course you did was with Noelle, with PBS. How long ago was that?
That was about now that would be 4 or 5 months ago.
Exactly. It was in March actually, right?
Yeah.
Now, you had no AI experience before. You heard of AI, like you all do ChatGPT and some emails and that type of stuff. But in scholarship mate, AI is at the operational layer. We're going to talk about the technical part of that. But just help them to understand how you, through that course, with no AI experience, and you're building on that, with no AI experience, was able to then instruct your own developers and the AI architect as to what you wanted done and how it needed to be done.
Yeah. So, like Mr. Roberts has said, no AI experience at all. Definitely, when I was coming into the course, I was coming in kind of trying to tell myself I understand what was going on, but left sometimes completely lost. However, utilizing AI and going to this course, and this course was only about a week long. It really gave me a lot of tools that I never would have found on my own, and a lot of opportunities that I would have never built on my own as well. The course, it definitely changed my perception of how business can be done, and not only be done, but improved. So I believe that Vibathon also will help you with that as well.
Awesome. I think there's a question somewhere, but I didn't really get the question one. I just need to give him one. He doesn't have one. I'm sorry. Thank you. You don't need that. Just before you ask the question, so scholarship means I am really proud of. I'm proud of it. I have nothing to do with it. It's all of Mari's idea. And the reason why I'm proud of it is I think at some point he's going to have to change the name from scholarship. Right? It started with that idea, but the execution of what he's built today is just so amazing. Your parents in the room? Any parents in the room? Yeah, you want to sign, right? Any business owners in the room, because PBS Hub is one scholarship internally to our own business, and this is the platform that we have now subscribed to in order to qualify those individuals who we want to have scholarships in areas in industry, and we don't have to do the work for it, right? It's already done. A very simple subscription makes that happen. I encourage you as a business, nonprofit, please do so. Students, sign. Parents, check it out. Question, please.
Hi everyone. I actually have 4 questions. Four things if I missed any of this stuff. But I have 4 questions. Number one, what's your user base? Number two, how do you monetize if you do monetize? Number three, what was your stack as far as like how you build it? And number four, like assuming this scales to I don't know, a million users or whatever, I mean, what's your plan for like debugging code and just I guess making sure that it scales the way that you would like? Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we have to start from question one again. Only because that is a whole lot and very good questions, all 4 of them, I promise. So the user base, right. So the user base, in which way do you mean the user?
How many users do you have?
So currently, right now, within the 6 months that it's been going on, 300 users. It has been scaled within Bahamian, I guess, industry, educational industry, looking to help Bahamians find scholarships not only within the country but outside of the country as well. As well as it is now, well, we're now looking to go for scholarships that are worldwide and not only within the North American region.
Question two is how do you monetize? Not because you're trying to be a billionaire out of it, but just like obviously you love maintenance costs, you love any number of different things. Like, how do you plan to, I guess, keep up with the funding?
Yeah. So the way how I have monetized it is I believe that in driving opportunity, it's not good to try to push a high price. So I had monetized it on a subscription type base for low price. For everything that the services that we provide. I would like to keep it low because I want to make sure that we are always holding the ethnical principle of opportunity.
Awesome.
Third question was your stock capability. I don't know if you're talking about that.
Big boss, he made the boss call. He said, I can't talk about that one.
Awesome. And then the fourth question was,
You forget that.
yeah.
Scale.
Yeah, scaling. Like if something goes wrong, I can't fix it. Like,
I need the bug.
Well, I think that's a beautiful thing about this kind of work. A lot of technicians feels as though their jobs are going to be affected by AI and stuff like that. And this is proof that for technicians, this is not something that is going to take jobs away from technicians. AI is going to be something now they just have to look over. And this is the same way how any company would create their company and they need more people to work. This would create more jobs for more technicians, more people that want to do customer service, and that's how we would scale it.
I have more questions.
Don't worry, we can talk after this if you want. No problem.
You what the? All right. He's going to hit you with a 5-piece.
Morning.
Morning.
Dr. Kalei from Longevity and Gender Therapies in Ministry of Economics. Congratulations. This is a very significant need in the Bahamas. Really two questions. One, what was the cost to develop it? What was the cost of the program and the training you did, that 1-week training? Was it local, international, online? What was the cost of that? What was the cost to build this? And what is your marketing plan and target population? How many students do you wish to reach in the next year? 5 years. In longevity and regenerative therapies, there's a need for persons who are like medical physicists, stem cell researchers. Like there's a whole new area that we really need to start moving Bahamians into, because we want to create a space in the Bahamas where people come here to do longevity and regenerative therapy. So as you look for scholarships, please look for those.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that we can expand.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I think the first one, the cost, he has no idea of what it costs him for the course. Because as a part of PBS, we believe in the potential. So as a part of the PBS team, he was just invited to do that course with Noelle, who did a juice rate for us in a specialized, customized fashion, so that we could be able to deliver quickly to help smaller businesses be able to compete at the local level. And so he was just a part of that process. You are part of the process today. But now just the tools that you will be accessing and the knowledge that you will receive, you will know that many else didn't do this. All right. You can ask the other one, please.
Can you remind me of the second one, sorry?
How much did it cost to build it?
Right. So how much did it cost to build it? To be honest, the cost was very, very minimal. I would recommend. I know we talked about Claude. I know we talked about ChatGPT. Another one I want to throw out there actually is Lovable. I believe Lovable is something that everybody should use at some point. It is very, very good for if you want to build, design, and scale. On Lovable, the cost for the credits did not cost me much at all. It only cost me $100. And that is what I use to build up scholarship mates to give the ideas to my developers.
You see what's happening, let's start walking what it says. You see my family. That's one of the tools you have access to today.
Yes.
No, that's one of the tools you have access to today. Yeah. The third question was target population.
Scalable, right. So in the next year, we have done 600 users 300 users in the 6 months. I believe that by the next year, this time, I would like to have hit 1,000. I believe that's very reachable, very doable, and will set a very good mark for students within the Bahamas.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you guys. It's amazing, amazing. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's nice. Thank you. All right, I'm actually about coding a thing like right now while you're talking. I'm excited because it should be ready by lunch, and I'm gonna show it to you. Amazing. I don't remember. If you can flip back to, I don't know if y'all know which slide this is, but it's the process on it. Those little bullet points. Hopefully you can find it. It's called the life cycle. If you can, that's all right. I'm going to be whiteboarding / writing on an easel for you right now what you're going to do next. So this is going to lead us into the build session, but right now you all have ideas. And so I want to teach you what I teach every company, very large and also relatively small, solopreneurs. What I teach them in order to figure out, you've got a ton of ideas. Now this idea is what we call a backlog. Every idea you should carry around. I don't have it up here, but in my bag, I have a little notebook. It's paper. I have pencils and pens, erasable. But like always now, in the world, in the era that we are in, always have a way to capture your ideas. Maybe it's on your phone, in a notepad, doesn't matter, but capture them, because now the ability for you to execute those ideas is easier than ever, and you can do it like me. I just got an idea, and then I was like, I should build this, and so I'm building it. And so I'm gonna show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. I am building it on Lovable, so thank you, Omari, for introducing that tool. We will be not using that for the build session because for free you can only get 5, and our commitment to you is that you'd be able to do whatever we ask you to do without any purchase of an additional license. You get 5 credits for free. So we're gonna use Lovable at the very end. You're gonna go into Lovable, create a free account. You get 5 credits every day. So that's not terrible, but it can't, you're gonna immediately use all your credits and be like, I need more. And then you have to pay for them. And anyway, it's a slippery slope. So I encourage you to use other platforms that are super cheap or free in order to help you come up with your idea, and then go to Lovable for the finished product. And so that's what we'll be demonstrating today. But now you've all got, I've talked to a few of the teams, you've got some good ideas. You will have to pick one. And so the first thing I want to share with you is the rubric for figuring out which one to pick. It may be helpful, it may not, because you might have 2 that tie, but it's meant to give you some insight. So I would write this down because in your organization, you should do the exact same thing. Everyone has the opportunity to support and supply exciting ideas to your organization. Jeff Bezos at Amazon, he said to us, oh, thank you. You're gonna put it in the middle for me? Yeah, I just stopped.
So we can be prejudiced.
Thank you. I tried. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, great, thank you. So Jeff Bezos would tell us our job was to innovate on behalf of our customers, was to think ahead of where they were and anticipate their needs. That was our role. And in order to do that and then decide what to execute on, he gave us this rubric, but it has, and of course we were building AI back then, but it has served me extremely well now. So the first thing that you will want to do is assess what we call the core values of the idea. How does this idea map to who you are as an individual? Now you're on a team, so everyone will have different core values. You can imagine this from an organization. What's the goal of the organization? Going back to the basics, what are we here to do? What is the reason we exist? That is the examination you want to make. Now, because you'll have shared teams and shared core values, this one might, be like, well, they're both aligned to someone's core values. So that might not be an easy determinant, but what I often will say, and we do this at Amazon, is think about it's called PRFAQ. Anytime you wanted to build any system at Amazon, you had to create something called a PRFAQ, and this is a press release and frequently asked questions document before you've ever built it. So you build the press release for your idea before you've ever launched it. And in it, you make up the best quotes. Like Jeff Bezos said some amazing stuff about my things. I mean, he never did, but he did in my press release. Or I would go and be like the president or the, whoever, like any big name, I would have quoted in my press release. I would have all of this fanfare of like, this is the value that the world is getting. This is the press release announcing this amazing thing to the world. It doesn't exist yet, but that's what you want to think about. And then the FAQ was, what questions would people have as soon as they wanted, that's not me, right? What questions would they have as soon as they started using it or in order to make a buying decision? But those core values should echo. So in other words, as soon as you launch it, how will you feel? I have this happen on TikTok. I have a few viral posts that I've done. And I always tell people, always post things that if it goes viral, you'll be happy it went viral. The 3 of the 7 that have gone viral, millions of people have seen this video. I was like, but that's not what I was trying to do. Like, that's not what I do. They're looking at me. One of them was about an AI model that we fed it a picture of Barack Obama, and it interpreted it as a white man. And I was like, this is why you don't rely on AI to make decisions, that it's humans that have to tell the model. Anyway, all heck broke loose on TikTok. People were like, AI is racist and AI is this. I'm like, no, I was saying, your job, everyone blamed the AI, and I have hundreds of thousands of people who are like, AI is the devil. And I was like, that's not what I wanted to go viral about. So core values is, if your system goes viral, will you be happy and proud, and will it amplify who you want to be? Because anything you do has the ability to get millions of users in this new day and age. Make sure it's something you care about. The second thing, so that's the first thing, is we call it value identification. The second thing is risk. Examine your use case for how risky it is. Now, you could go in the direction of kind of like the question we had earlier around scale, like how many people is it going to serve, and does it have the right infrastructure to do that? But really what I'm thinking about more is fairness and safety. Right? Like, is there risk to this? If I do this, is it possible someone could get hurt mentally, physically? Could their rights be infringed upon? Nobody asks these questions, by the way, when they start vibing. They're like, this is amazing. And they just start building things. They're not thinking about risk, but this will help you if the idea does eventually become marketable. If you have thought through this, it will scale much, much safer. So risk, so now is it aligned with our core values? Does it also, like, in other words, we're trying to be risk averse. Let's not do the most risky thing in one day together. And then the final one is complexity. How hard would this be? So I'm always looking at things like, if you have an idea and you're like, we need 17 data sources and 3 of them are owned by the federal government and one of them doesn't exist yet, I'm like, you might not be able to get that done today, right? So this is for you to analyze what you should do first in an organization, but it's also good to analyze what the thing you should do today. What could you reasonably get done in time for me to judge you and give you a cool award? You're going to have to make sure it's aligned with core values, because you're gonna have to stand up here and talk about it. And if it's aligned with what you care about, it's way easier. It's gonna not be risky, because if you make it risky, it's gonna be very hard for it to live beyond today. And then complexity. The complexity lever is the biggest one, because if you make it too complex, you won't finish. So this is where we talk about this concept of minimum remarkable product. That you're gonna look at the idea you came up with, no matter what it is, you're gonna wanna look at it and think, what's one capability? Now, I've taught many of these. No one has ever been able to just do one. So, but I'm telling you this to help guardrail you against doing too much and not finishing. That's the biggest concern, is you will take on too much work and you won't get done in time to be able to demo anything. So MRP means you're going to take a minimum capability in your idea and just demonstrate that. So if you were going to build Scholarship Mate, right, you wouldn't build the entire multi-page, multifaceted environment. You would just build the conversational agent that helps people answer questions based on publicly findable documents, right? But it's not just like, I'm just building a chatbot. It's like, what experience, what questions would you answer that would be remarkable, which means you now need to go find the data that would give them that information. You need to source where it came from. You need to create an opportunity for them to do something. So minimum remarkable is two very important words here. You want to shrink the scope, right? This is what kills every good idea in a Vivathon, is that you take on too much and you don't finish. It doesn't mean you won't finish ever. Hopefully you build something cool and you'll want to build it again, like keep building it tomorrow when we're not together. But if you want to get done today, the scope has to be small. And so ideally we will protect you from this. We'll have you explain it to us and we're like, well, I love all of that. Do these two, right? Focus on the first two bullets. If you have multiple bullets of features, you're going to pick one, maybe two. Make sense? Right? So this is the evaluation criteria. Now, once you have that evaluation criteria, you are going to define what we call a use case. And so the very first thing, now that you've got this description, you're going to want to, and you can use ChatGPT if you are that kind of a user, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to describe the problem. And this is like, you can do it on your computer, on your laptop, so that you don't have to copy. I like doing everything on paper, so I do it on paper and then I type it in. Helps me think through it, slows me down because I'm very fast on my computer. So problem, we call it determination, but you're basically writing the problem statement. For example, I want to build a platform for Vivathon people to be able to register their teams, to be able to register their ideas, to be able to then allow judges to grade them. And I also want the ability for us at the end to see an image map of all of the Vibe ideas that came out of it. So that's my problem statement. That's the problem I want to solve, is I want to build a platform that solves those problems. Registration of teams and all the things I just said. Now, once I have the problem statement, I then need to determine what success looks like. This is critical and most people don't do it, but like, how do you know that it's working? This might be, in my case with the Vibathons, I get 100% of my Vibers registered. No problems, no disasters, no one saying it broke, no one saying they can't log in. So I'm going for 100% success of every one of you being able to register your team in this system I'm building. And literally, this is the thing I just vibed on the side right there. So we'll see how it goes. Right? So problem, I want to build a platform. Success, a metric, a number. It needs to be, yes, it works. No, it doesn't. So you have to pick a number. Is it how many people use it? Or how much time it saves? Some number. Now, you might not have to deliver on that number today, but in order for you to go to production from being an MRP, you have to be able to determine its metrics, right? So you've got the problem, you've got the success statement. Now, when we come back, so this is the homework that you have right now, is you're gonna do this analysis of the use case. You're gonna say, is it aligned with our core values? Is it risky? And is it hard? Right? Those are the things that will allow you to deprioritize. You're looking for high value, low risk, easy solutions. That's what you're going for. It's a Vibathon. This isn't to boil the ocean or solve all the world's problems in one day. High value, low risk, easy. And when I say easy, I don't mean simple. I mean, like, is the data hard to get? Can I simulate this? Like, do I need to have access to a governmental organization in order to do it? Like, those would make things hard for you to do right now in this room today. So once you do that, that's phase one, is do that analysis. Now you've got one project per team. Once you've got that project, you're then going to document your problem statement. That problem statement should include, the audience, right? It should include who you are solving the problem for and how you plan to solve it. It's not too difficult. I think most of you naturally wrote your statements this way, so there should be just a little bit of work. But if not, write it out. I usually 3 to 4 sentences that describes the problem I'm trying to solve, who I'm trying to solve it, and how it's going to help them. Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask the model, here's what I want. and here's how I want my user to feel at the end. What would you do? Based on all the things you know, AI model, in the world, what would you do to get me to this outcome? And let it provide you some ideas. We're not doing that yet, but that's why we're positioning the problem scope this way, right? And so then we need to identify what success looks like. It definitely needs to be one, but it doesn't have to be just one. So let's say you wanna save time, generate revenue, make your employees happy, have high customer satisfaction ratings. You can put them all down. But just know, in order for you to mark an AI system as successful, you have to have at least one metric that says that it's successful. I prefer only one, because when you have more than one, you have to prioritize which one would cause it to be useful or not useful, so I don't like doing that. All right, next, and this is just gonna help you as we move into the build session, and we're gonna go through a new process for that, so now we've got the problem defined. The next problem you need to solve for is data. Information. What does your system need? So for some of you that are building systems that are going to help someone become more educated about something or bring awareness to them, where does that truth come from? So let's quickly go through an exercise. I'll come back to that page. Do you know this acronym? I think you do. Most of you raised your hand, right? GPT. If you know all of these, do not feel the need to yell all of them out, because it's an exercise. So the first one I'll give to someone. What does the G stand for? You can just yell it out. Yes, generative. Some of you know this more than others. Easy. And so you know who you are. If you know all of these, don't play. Generative. Well, give me some examples of what that means. What does generative mean? You ask and it gives you an answer. Okay, what about just if it wasn't related to AI? What does generate mean? Create, I love it. Create, make, build, manufacture, develop, love it. So it is the first ingredient in AI systems, which is like chocolate chips in a bag that you buy at the store, right? When you look at the ingredients, the first ingredient is what it's the most of. And that's what this is. Generative, the most thing this model does is generate things for you at all costs. It will generate, make, create, answer questions, give you some result at all costs. The next letter is P. What does that stand for? Predictive, I like predictive. Anyone over here? Programmable. And then someone said, back here, but yes, I know the team in the back knows this very well. So they're like, for goodness sakes, we're saying something. I hear you. Yes, pre-trained. Thank you, team. Y'all are amazing. Pre-trained. On what? Data. Okay, so what this means is that when we build an AI, this LLM, ChatGPT, this model type generates answers based on pre-trained data. So what, you said data, you said information. Where does this pre-trained data come from? Do you know? Say it loud. Come on. I know, you're not, don't worry, it's okay to be wrong. I hope you're wrong. What did you say? Cloud, okay, I like that. What data is in the cloud? Everywhere. Well, let's be a little bit more specific. Where would it get data? Yes? Okay. I'm just gonna make it easy. All of these are actually true, but we're gonna start with the internet, right? Which is what you're saying, right? Cloud and connecting, yes, machines talking to each other, but it's the internet. However, I don't know if you know this, someone created the internet, not him. The internet was manufactured by academia, right? Universities built the internet, they created machines to talk to each other. Then they expanded it a little bit further to people who like academia. The internet is full of a bunch of data now. That data is what we call op-ed, right? Opinion editorial, and some facts. But I don't know if you know this, people who write textbooks are actually just giving you their opinions too. So it's all mixed up. So the pre-training is everything on the internet, but everything on the internet has no idea what truth is, justice, equity. That's the good stuff. It also doesn't know what your organization does or what its core value is. It doesn't know what humans should do and what humans shouldn't do. It has zero context of right and wrong. It's not, you can ask it, but the only reason it gives you an answer is because some human told it what that means. Every decision it has a polarized opinion about was given to it by a human. And that human, well, isn't you. And so the first thing we're going to do as we learn about these systems we're using is that, yay, they create whatever we want, but they're creating it based on information that does not represent you, does not represent the problem you're trying to solve or the people you're trying to serve. So immediately, this is called training data. Oopsie. There's like an N in there. These models are trained on what's called training data. Your job is to provide additional data sources. Some of you might know this. There is an architecture called retrieval augmented generation. This is a de facto standard. Every model you use, you should never use it unless you've trained it, which means if you go to ChatGPT right now, which everyone in here said they were using a model, if you're using a model right now, someone else trained that model with the data it's going to focus on, with the problem it's going to solve, and with who it's going to solve it for. If you didn't do it, someone else definitely did. Usually it's a data scientist that has no idea the problem you're trying to solve. Sometimes these models, because of their pre-training, are good at guessing. Anyone know what we call it when a model guesses wrong or gets it? Yes, hallucinations, right? But it's just an error. It's kind of like thinking about you going to like a high school reunion and someone's like, oh my gosh, do you remember Mr. Roberts? He was our English teacher. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, remember that day he did this thing? And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I don't remember exactly. But you kind of keep going because you don't want the person to feel bad. So you're like, oh my gosh, I totally remember that. I don't remember. And so that's what the model does. It thinks it's like trying to hold on to any bit of truth that it has in its training data that might potentially be related to the thing you're asking it to do that it does not remember how to do. And then at the end of the day, it just makes it up. And sometimes, like the person at the high school reunion, you are made a fool. And that's what happens with these hallucinations. I think there's a question in the back. I'd throw you my mic, but there's one around here somewhere. So we'll come right over to you. Oh, yes. Maybe I have all the mics. I don't. Somebody's got one. Maybe Omari has it. No, I took his mic. Oh, yeah, there's one there. Oh, sorry. All right, so we'll come to you. So you get the idea, right? The purpose of this is you're about to build a system with an AI technology, this. And it's really important to know at least a little bit. You don't have to be a technologist to understand this, but you do have to know it a little, that its job is to create, that there's a reason that it's giving you the answers and that you control the answers it gives through deciding, telling it, no, don't use the internet. It's all messed up. Use my data. Some of you are going to be using like publicly available data, information from the government, information from a business, right? You're going to ground it. That's what this process is called, is grounding the model in truth, and a human must do this work. Okay, all right. Question, please, or comment. Yeah.
Yeah, comment. So basically you're saying, first one programs the AI, which programs it to lie.
Not exact, it's an error. So if you made a mistake, right, and you didn't know something, you thought you did, but you didn't, if I called you a liar, would that be accurate?
I mean,
not necessarily. It's mean, but it's not accurate. Right? So an error is when the model does not, remember, we built this thing to generate. It's doing its job. It's exactly what we told it to do. Generate me an answer on this data. It's the problem is that we as a society were not told this. We were kind of led to believe that this was based on truth. That's what people think. They think ChatGPT is telling them the truth, when really it's making up an answer based on the internet's data. That's it. Yeah, go ahead. Does that make sense?
so basically because it's not human, it's not a lie.
Right. Anthropomorphization. I try not to call my AIs he or she. They're its, and you build it. And if you didn't build it, someone else built it. But it definitely had a human involved. Now, I'm saying this today there's craziness happening. So let's not get into the scariness that's happening around the world. Okay. Were you about to talk about mythos? Were you going to go there? Okay. Yeah, please. I'll repeat it unless Mr. Roberts gets here. Perfect.
It sounds simple enough, but in my observation in using some of these LLMs, they've kind of taken on behavioral patterns that you would typically ascribe to humans, like
Yes.
manipulation. I think that goes a step beyond, inherent data, but I don't know if you could explain it.
Yeah, I would love to explain that. So imagine, if you will, who is training these models. They are data scientists. I always like the example. I'm a data scientist. I helped train Alexa. When we built that model, we never imagined the things it would be used for. We thought and were told it would be a kitchen device. So we trained it to manage things that would happen in the kitchen. I don't know if you know this, but it almost immediately was not a kitchen device. Like, as soon as we launched it, people put it in their living rooms. And we were like, that's not what we built that for. And now imagine ChatGPT. ChatGPT was built as an engineering playground for entertainment purposes, not to provide you truth or change your emails or make you sound like a better person. Like, it was built as a playground for engineers to just go and have fun with a model that manufactured nonsense. It was a playground. That's what we called it, a playground. And now people use it. Of course, it's evolved, and now the whole company had to change their direction to support what we as users have asked them to do, which is make it useful for our business. But in the early days, Alexa was a kitchen device, ChatGPT was an engineering playground. We are now, and that's why I say, when you build what you're building now, it's good to be thoughtful about that, because when you build an AI system, it can eventually reach millions of people. And no matter who you build for, remember on that page, no matter who you design for, here, it will not be only that person that uses this. But you got to start somewhere. So today we start with, we're going to say who it's for, but almost immediately when you start building it, people who you did not expect will start using it. But absolutely, the engineers that built it, I don't know if you know anything about data scientists. Oh, do you have any data scientists in the house? Usually they don't raise their hand even if they are here. So they're a bit introverted. They don't they're scientific, logical, linear thinkers. As a result of that, a lot of the behavior you see is echoing kind of the core values of data scientists. If you, I remember being in a machine learning project, and the project was the AI model was lying, right? Hallucinating, having massive errors. And we were like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Why would you lie to me? And the model responded, I just wanted to make you happy. And if that's not a data scientist being like, I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help you out. I don't even know what you're trying to do. I'm just building a system. It is the internal ethics and culture of the people who built it, because the model learns from how you talk to it, the word usage, the position of the words. It's very interesting. These models are absorbing human behavior and then using that to generate our answers. So that's why, here's the good news, is that if you do nothing to a model, meaning your vending machine AI, you go to the vending machine of AI and ask it, and it gives you back and you take no control. We call this being a consumer of AI, just like a consumer on social media. It's not great. Being a consumer, it's addictive. They're trying to, the more eyeballs you have on that platform, the more money someone else is making. I always say, if you are on social media or using an AI product and you are not giving it money, what are you paying with? Your soul, actually. No, I'm just kidding. But kind of, right? So you're paying with something, but if you are not buying a product, guess what the product is? It is you. You are the product. So I immediately want to make sure that I am, as a consumer of an AI, I'm the product. They're using my information, my data, my questions, my answers in order to serve their purpose, which I have no idea what that is. So you want to switch from being a consumer to being a producer. And that's the skill you're learning today. And it will serve you whether you ever build your own solo app it will just change the way you use AI from now on. That's our hope, right? So no longer will you be a consumer just asking a blank AI how to do something. You are now going to tell a machine who you are, how it can help you, who you're trying to serve, how you're trying to serve them. You will give it very specific directions and very specific data. Now, I don't want to leave you hanging. The T is actually incredibly important, but it's also pretty technical. Anyone know what it stands for? Yes, the transformer. Transformers, no, okay. I can't even help more than meets, okay. Anyway, so transformer, I'll put it up here because I ran out of room. So this is an architecture. There's a paper for you paper readers out there called Attention is All You Need. It started everything we do now. I was on Alexa when we didn't have a transformer. We were building AI the old-fashioned way, manually, with billions and billions of data points, constantly, every single day, training it, monitoring it, all manual. What Alexa was bad at, I don't know if some of you remember this experience, but if you went to Alexa and you're like, hey Alexa, give me the weather in Weston, Florida, which is where I live, it would be like, oh, it's balmy 94 degrees, and there is a heat advisory and blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, oh my gosh, great. Well, I would love to go to a local pool. Can you give me a local pool in the area? What area would that be? And you'd be like, Weston, yeah. I'm like, Weston, Florida? You know the thing I just asked you about? He's like, I have no idea what you're asking. And so Alexa had no ability to remember your conversations over time. So we created a architecture for short-term memory management, which got us a couple of years from 2014 to 2017. But in 2017, thankfully, a couple of engineers at Google were like, for goodness sakes, we have to fix this. Otherwise, it's useless. It's super frustrating to talk to a machine that constantly forgets what it's talking about. Every time you go back and you're like, remember me? I've talked to you every day for the last year. And it's like, I have no idea who you are. And so it's awful. And so ChatGPT and others, there were many models before Chat that had used this model. BERT at Meta, anyway, lots of them. But the whole magic that happened is we created an AI system that could remember. And now attention's all you need. If you can remember someone, if someone calls your contact center and they're like, I need help. And you're like, oh my gosh, Sarah, I know you. You were just on the website looking at this thing. You chatted with our AI. You said you needed help because your baby isn't sleeping. Like that interaction is magical to Sarah on the phone going, you know who I am? You know I was on the website? Oh my gosh, yes, I need help. As opposed to, who are you? Member number, please. Sarah, could you spell your last name? Okay. Well, she's, like it's a completely cold, interactive experience. Now we can build a model that saves that data. Now I can build a model that listens to Sarah as she's like, oh my gosh, my baby won't sleep. We tried this milk, blah, 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 blah. Milk. Oh, it looks like your baby was born at this time, had this diagnosis. Turns out, what kind of milk are you giving your child? We can be hyper-personalized because we have an AI that can listen, save information, look up information. I will just tell you right now, Sarah doesn't want to talk to a machine in that moment. Sarah wants to talk to a human, but does not want to talk to a human who is like laser focused on documenting the conversation and looking up information on the internet. So that's what this model did, and we did serve contact centers first with this model. So attention is all you need means that everything you do now has memory. And so you can be much more specific with what people need. So this is a crash course in machine learning. Your job now is to know the first thing, you will have massive ability to create whatever you want. Your job is to train it on data you provide to control the truth. So truth is defined by you, and you will do that definition as a producer of your AI outcomes instead of a consumer. So by the end of today, you'll be telling AI what to do, not asking it to do things for you. It's a very different, subtle change, but very, very different. So what we're gonna do next, remember the homework. Now that you know, you're gonna need to define the problem, identify some metrics, and identify the data that's necessary. This might be PDFs on the internet that you wanna use as source data. I built Pizza Pals. It's an AI platform for pizzerias. I built it as a pet project in a Vibathon, and it was very successful. So now this platform is used by pizzerias. It allows them to go in And the only data that I train for every Pizza Pal is their menu, their very specific menu. And so when I built the problem determination, help pizzerias never have to answer a phone on the busiest day, right? Have them instead not answer the phone and serve their current customers, have an AI answer the phone, have an AI answer emails, answer chat messages, and be able to answer 90% of the questions that would have been called in. But the data is the company data, the menu, the website. I literally just copy and paste everything on the website, drop it into the prompt, not the consumer prompt, the system prompt. And so I train the model, and that's what we'll be doing this afternoon. So this is what you have. Let's see, we are right at 12 o'clock. We're gonna go into lunch after this. And so I want to invite for this stage, which is an important process, those of you who are visionaries, hopefully you know this, please raise your hands, visionaries. There's way more than you, maybe you don't know. You're a visionary and you're a visionary. All right, and that whole row back there are visionaries. Okay, so if you are a visionary, we have a special place for lunch and working through this process with you. That is gonna be down this hallway, and you'll see it. It's down this hallway, and there's a room for the visionaries to have lunch and dedicated time with the mentors. The rest of you, do we have an idea on what everyone else is doing for lunch? Okay, it's going to be out here. I knew that there was something. I just want to make sure I didn't overstate. So there'll be a buffet here, and there'll be opportunities to sit outside so that you don't mess up your work environment. But also, like I said, we technically the food's not ready yet. So you're spending half an hour working on this homework. The next step is telling an AI what to do. So the better you are at this part, the more successful you will be in the next part. So don't take it lightly. Oh, it's ready. All right, awesome. So eat, work, enjoy your lives. We'll see you back here at 1 o'clock. Okay? All right, we'll see you at 1. Have fun. And take a break. And hydrate. Well done. Yeah, you too. You too. I'm so glad. I hope you enjoyed it. Super cool. I know. Well done, everyone. It's going well, right? Yeah, I like it.
A lot of people are engaged, like